Welcome back to this already the final segment of today's Price of Business, and I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. And it's your business to keep track of brand spokespeople. Moments like this is when I wish my kids were here who could say, Dad, you finally said something random. Because apparently random is the height of humor greatness. You know, it's like, really? They should have saw my grandfather who said the most bizarre things in the final days of his life that were completely random. And they seemed to have nothing to do with the time or space, era in which he was living in. But anyway.
Did it sound like this?
That's it, man. It's game over, man. It's game over.
Exactly. On a good day.
Yeah.
On a good day. Anyway, I laugh, but this is actually very sad. This is very sad for a lot of reasons, because I hate to confess, but I kind of always saw Jerod Fogle as kind of like the great American success story. Here's a guy who struggled in college, with an obesity issue, challenged himself to eat nothing but one Subway sandwich, a day. I mean, a diet that included one Subway sandwich, and changed his diet. Went from a guy who, 3 people could fit in his pants to, one normal-sized person could fit in his pants. It's like, wow, that was kind of a cool story. And now, I won't even tell you what he's been doing with his pants.
Well, I mean,
see what I'm doing? This is terrible.
Maybe he went back to the larger pants so he could fit the kid in there with him.
Oh, now you just crossed it. Now, if I had been dancing on the line of inappropriateness, you just crossed it.
I have to, though. I mean, he's the one who crossed the line of appropriateness.
He did. Here's the whole deal. So I was shocked to hear, when I first heard that he was being accused or being examined, and they had this footage that was very kind of disturbing to just watch. People coming in and out of his house and carrying God knows everything out. It's like
Hillary Clinton's server was in there, man.
The one that everyone's been looking for. It's not the one that she turned in. It's the other one. But they, are going back and forth, bringing this stuff out. And I go, well, I heard something about one of his assistants being charged, with child pornography. And I thought maybe it was tied with that. And sure enough, it was him. And, but I thought somehow he's going to get exonerated, and it just shows you how you get kind of caught up in what appeared to be kind of a nice guy, but apparently with a very, very dark side. And I'm for one, I'm glad that there's something happening, but he's pleading guilty. He's agreeing to plead guilty. And I'm not real happy with these results.
Right. Well, I don't like the idea that somebody who has child pornography and apparently sexual relations with minors is just getting off with a plea deal and not going to do jail time. You have the details there. What are the details of that plea deal that he reached?
Yeah, this is what I found out. This is according to Fox News. The agreement filed by prosecutors ahead of an expected court appearance by Fogle says he agrees to pay $1.4 million in restitution to 14 minor victims, receiving $100,000 each. And he must register as a sex offender and undergo treatment for sexual disorders. And so I'm like, I'm not impressed by that, and to me, it reeks of your, again, I know I talked a little, and I still believe there's too much aggressive prosecution going on. There's too many people being thrown in jail for questionable reasons. There's too many Americans in prison. But this is the one time where you stick some guy's derriere in jail. This is the one time where there is no other appropriate sentence than this.
Yeah, well, sorry. Sorry, Charlie.
Yeah, he paid a 17-year-old, which I guess it depends on the state, but the state that he was in, to perform sex acts. It was in New York.
Boy or girl? I mean, I'm being salacious, but it didn't say...
Girl.
Girl? Okay, well, at least he's got that going for him. Well, I mean, because had it been a boy, it would have been even more... he could have been Elmo at that point. I mean, which, by the way, he's been exonerated.
Yeah, he's been exonerated, and I'm hearing...
They tossed out the lawsuits.
Yeah.
But do you think that he's innocent?
I don't have enough information, but all I know
I don't think he is.
Is that this guy knew he was guilty to the point that he was willing to spend $1.4 million in lieu of going to court.
But is he paying in sandwiches?
I don't think he has that ability anymore.
Oh, okay.
Subway kissed that relationship goodbye.
They did. They really did. They 86'd it.
They 86'd it.
Well, and what does this do for Subway? Is this going to make them look good or bad? It can't make them look good, that's for sure, unless they have, I don't know, maybe they have some sort of a new marketing ploy, a new promotional deal where they say, hey, kids under 18, come in and you can get a free 6-inch.
All I know is I see a Saturday Night Live skit, and unfortunately Saturday Night Live isn't funny anymore, so I don't know what they'll do with it. But
right.
But there's
I'm
not
glad
much.
that went over your head because...
Yeah, no, it went over my head because I didn't want to comment on it. Anyway.
Well, we're sinking like a sub around here, aren't we?
We really are.
I mean, Jerod Fogle, shame on you. Bill Cosby, what about him?
Oh, you're
Jell-O
breaking my
pudding
heart.
will never be the same.
You're breaking my heart.
Yeah.
Because he's the one guy, I grew up in a very, very liberal home when it came to race issues. My parents were very pro-black. We had great attitudes with blacks.
Your dad was a Black Panther, wasn't he?
No, but my first best friend, ironically named Joe Cosby. I don't think any relation, but you never know. To Bill, but my very first best friend that I recall was named Joe Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
And was a black, and so I always looked at him as just a great role model. I liked Bill Cosby. I remember watching Bill Cosby. What was it called? Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids.
Oh yeah.
When I was
sure.
a kid, I would watch that.
I used to love I Spy with Robert.
I Spy was
Bill
awesome.
Cosby, yeah,
awesome. And I loved what he had to say, though, about being responsible, about owning your life rather than acting like victims. And if you want to be treated, appropriately, act appropriate. Those are great regardless of your ethnicity. I thought it resonated very true to friends of mine who were in the black community that they saw him as a great model and example on how to do things better.
Yeah.
The whole thing is that whole deal just makes me physically ill, and it's just an incredible tragedy. And apparently he is guilty, and that's the part that I've defended him all along. I have defended him as long as I could. Now it's to the point where it's not defendable anymore. It's now embarrassing.
Well, when you have like 30 women come out, it's one thing if you got one woman, two women, okay, maybe they're just trying to get money. You hear that all the time.
Yep.
When it's 30-something women, and then you find out a few years ago he gave deposition and all this stuff
that was
came
the
out.
deal that pushed it over the top. Which
No.
I kind of say shame on the judge because I'm sure part of those terms were those whatever was in that
Non-disclosure.
disposition would stay in that disposition. But on the other hand, that's what they call a smoking gun, right?
Yeah, and just think about all the people.
And we still have to say alleged because we're on radio and we don't need to hassle. But
look at all the people who've been supporting him, the corporations and all that stuff. Over
and
the
all of
years.
his co-hosts are really worried about the syndication of the show. I mean, all of his co-stars that are worried about syndication of the show. You can't find Cosby anywhere.
It's been pulled. And interestingly, wasn't Bill Cosby the one who for a while had owned the rights to Our Gang and the Little Rascals and pulled it so that it wouldn't air anymore? I had heard that. Maybe that's just one of those urban legends. But that would be so ironic if now his show has been pulled and you won't see it anymore.
Why would he have pulled it? Our Gang?
Racism. I mean, it was the buckwheat thing and all that. It was considered.
They made fun of all the kids.
It was considered.
Aren't you familiar with Froggy?
It was considered racist by liberals who also won't let Disney release Song of the South. One of the most technologically advanced films, of that era. And no one can see it anymore because, Brer Rabbit and the Tar Baby and all that.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't meant to be, really against. I mean, it's not like they were saying, "Hey, I wish we still had slavery."
No.
So I mean, that's insane. But anyway, you can't find it. I had to buy it from the UK and then on VHS and then have it dubbed over to.
And I'm waiting for you
digital.
to give me a DVD copy of that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you told me you were going to.
Okay, I will. I have to.
I can't find it anywhere.
I mean,
you went to extraordinary lengths. I want to see that because it's a great, great movie.
Yeah,
and the music is amazing.
It is, and of course they still play the music,
at least some of it.
but they zippity doo dah. But they won't.
We need that as
release
bumper music too.
Zippity doo dah. Yeah,
we
they
need
won't
that
release
for Fridays. Friday,
That's a
that'd be
great
good,
idea.
Good bumper music.
What
for
a great
Friday.
idea. See this, folks. We're sharing our ideas
We're
with our listeners.
brainstorming. We are
Isn't that wonderful?
By the way, if you got ideas, both for content and for bumper music, we're always having bumper music discussions. info@usabusinessradio.com. Send me an email. info@usabusinessradio. All right. When we come back, much more for you on tomorrow's program. But between now and then, you can spend all your time checking out usdailyreview.com. And while there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter. Have a great day. Spend it wisely on this station.